right, so I am Christal Clashing. Yep, sound effects. So most people know me as a member of Team Antigua Island Girls.
No.
Hey.
And I've been a swimmer for Antigua for a very long time as well. Represented Antigua at the Olympics when I was 14, back in 2004. That's a long time ago.
I did not know that.
I was like 4 years old. Whoa.
Wow. And most recently, I was in Dominica, came back earlier this week. But last week, I was doing my first freediving competition.
Wow. Okay.
For those who don't know what freediving is, it is going down as deep as you can on one breath without any tanks, without any other breathing apparatus. You just go down on the one breath you have and go as far as you can and come back up.
So pretty much what you're trying to say in summation, you're just trying to tell us that you're awesome.
Well, if you read my shirt...
I have so many questions.
Amen. Okay, you got questions, but let me start off by saying, you are indeed awesome. I think the feats and the accomplishments that you guys have done, it's really, really, really commendable, and it's something to really be amazed about, right? So I gotta give you flowers regarding that.
Thank you.
And also you are an awesome person because kind of know you, before here, and even the little that I know about you is that you are humble to a fault. You're talented exceedingly, but then you kind of package it up very, very, very well. You know what I mean? And but the free diving thing, right? Let's tell you something. Every time you hear about free diving, especially there was one autobiography that they had about this gentleman. I think he had a bunch of awards and everything, but then he would talk about all these different, negative side effects, health things that happened to him as a result of all his years of free diving. Now, do you take the stuff like that into consideration, or is it a moderation type of thing, or what?
Okay, so one of the first things I do not do is watch documentaries about freediving. I don't do it because they're always looking for the drama. And you will find drama when you look for it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so there's that.
And that's why I don't watch porn. But go ahead.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you can't come. No.
What?
You're not a cable.
I like Christal.
And then the other thing is the depths that I'm diving at right now are not particularly dangerous depths, right? Now, when you're pushing world records, you're starting to really push the edge of human body limits. Of course, I'm pushing my own limits, right? But I'm not at the depths where I'm even close to where world records are.
Okay.
Right? So the thing about pressure when you're under the water is that it does increase as you go down, and it does compress your body, your air cavities, right? So your lungs compress, right? You have to make sure you keep equalizing your airs because you station tubes and your behind your sinuses and all of that can also compress as well. So you have to just keep bringing up air as if you're on like a plane and try to keep popping your ears, right? And there are a few different techniques to do that the lower you go in the water. So that's part of it, is just kind of getting the body, used to being under that kind of pressure, and also trying to make sure you know how to keep air in your ears as often as possible.
Wow.
Right, and that means relaxation is absolutely key. So, which is kind of
counterproductive.
It is. It's counterintuitive because you think, I'm going down. It's darker, getting darker. It's getting more silent. I'm further away from people and everything, right? But it can be really meditative as well. When you start to relax and you learn your body, you can peel away the layers of relaxation. Right, that's how it's been explained to me.
Extra zen.
Extra zen. Yeah, and the more you do it, and the more you learn the body and your mind, and a lot of it is your mind, right? Once your mind starts to tense up and freak up a little bit, then your whole body starts to feel it, as well, and then it's consuming more oxygen when you don't want it to be. You want to save the oxygen, right?
That means she can water bed now.
She don't hold watermelon right now.
So the child in me has a question for you. Would it be safe to say that you are Antigua's first mermaid?
I don't know what the history books say, but in modern times, I will claim it.
Okay.
All right. I like that.
The second question is, do you plan at any point in time, or have you at any point in time visited the tribe? Is it what was the name again?
Kalinagos?
No. The tribe that
In the Pacific,
adapted.
they're the fight that can stay
There are
on the
few
water
of
for
them,
5
actually.
minutes.
There's few of them.
Yeah.
There was one that was recognized very recently. I can't recall their name, but they said that they either adapted or mutated a larger spleen, so that they could stay down there for like hours on end.
Okay.
You're gonna train with them.
Well, when they say hours and then, what they mean is really you're going up and down for quite a long time. So they're not just staying on there for like.
Oh,
an
really?
hour,
I
right?
thought they were like whales. They
No,
just go down.
no. 5 minutes at a time.
They're going
5
up,
max.
They go down, they do their
5
thing,
max.
and they come up and get the air and then go again. It's just that the endurance is like
Crazy.
immense.
Oh.
And what happens? The reason the spleen is so important is because the oxygen is concentrated there at times, right? And so when the body is going at deeper depths, the blood kind of wants to flow to your core as well. It's as if you are dying, right? But it generally
She says smiling.
but it goes to the core and everything starts to get oxygen. The core parts get oxygenated, right? And it can also release oxygen into the body if you need it to, right? So those people, those different tribes, and it's not just in Indonesia is where you're thinking of, right?
Yeah.
There's actually Japanese women who are pearl hunters. They call them the
I know
ama,
them,
right? And they've come up with techniques as well to stay longer under the water, and they've been doing this for centuries.
Are all techniques the same?
No, but they're similar. They are similar. There's some have used like weights, right? So rocks, what they would use to use rocks to get them down and then release the rocks to come up.
Stone in Antigua.
There's also times when they would have a rope attached to them, so somebody would be at the surface, right, and they'll pull them up, so they go down with the stones.
That's
the
how.
rocks.
That's how.
I say stone. I say stone. I say tone.
That's actually just very true. That's true. That's true.
Listen.
Tone
But
on
yeah.
different something.
But yeah, they go down and then they can be released and then pulled up as well. So there are different techniques they've done for like survival and food hunting, right? When it comes to competitive freediving, they no longer do what's called the variable weight, which is where you go down with what they call a sled, which is like a weighted piece of rock or a weighted apparatus that makes you go down really fast, right? And then you let go of that and then you come up, right? They don't do that anymore because it's dangerous to do.
Okay.
Right, and you actually puncture things, and you're going down way too fast. You can't equalize consistently enough.
Right,
you get into trouble.
Or you might forget to let go.
I don't think you're gonna forget. Right, I don't think you're gonna forget, but it's just more. It's too fast for the body.
Okay.
Right, the body. It's going to be very painful. You asked if it hurts earlier, offline. It can hurt if you're doing it incorrectly.
Okay.
And if you're not paying attention, something. Whenever something hurts, it means you need to turn around and head back up. It's always advised: do not push into pain.
My mind went someplace totally different after you said that.
Anyway, I have a question.
Yeah.
But this is more for two things. Why? What made you get into like the diving? Like, what made you be like, I'm gonna go free dive?
That's a good question.
What's up? Like,
So I was actually asked to write a TV show for Caribbean Network that was trying to start itself in Antigua. And this is after I came back from Nauru. And I had been a travel writer for a little while in Costa Rica
Oh, nice.
Which is where I was living before coming back home
Cool.
in 2017. And so, while I was in Costa Rica, I was also exposed to somebody in Hawaii who had a show that she was just exploring the reefs without scuba gear or whatever. So she was free diving, with recreational free diving. So I said, okay, let me do a free diving show about the Caribbean, right? Because we know scuba diving, everybody covers scuba diving. Let's look into free diving and see how it is. But I was like, I don't know anything about free diving, so let me go to Dominica, which is where they have a school there. And they have two now, but they have one school there. And I said, I'm going to go there, do the training camp for the week, so I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then I did that week, and I didn't actually like free diving initially. I thought it was mad. Like my brain going down was like, what are you doing? Right? But then I came back home after that trip, and it was about 2 or 3 months later, I met up with the person who's now my dive buddy here, because you're not allowed to free dive alone. It's very dangerous
Thank
to do.
God.
Right?
Thank
It's
God.
very, very dangerous. But I met up with my dive buddy, and he's very, very calm and very zen himself. And he gave very good advice in terms of just coaching me through the different layers of diving. And I found enjoyment in it. I found that when I took off the mask and put on what's called a nose clip, right? The contact with of the water on my face just relaxed me so much more. I can't see much, but it's okay. It's almost like with the mask, it's sensory overload, and it disconnects me from the water. And because I grew up as a swimmer and started at Fort James as an open water swimmer more than a pool swimmer.
Oh, so you can swim.
I can swim, yes. And that made a whole difference. That nose clip, getting the water on my face, it just chilled me out. And so I was able to dive much deeper from then.
You know why I feel a type of way? Because I tried to learn, when I started out, when I was younger, I learned swimming in a pool, right? And I still can't swim. But everybody that
So
went to Fort
you learned
James,
nothing?
no, I don't know how to swim.
Okay.
Because that's why she was like pool and swimming. And I realized that everybody that swims at Fort James can swim. I heard so much stories from Fort James.
Water is a different kind of water.
It's a different kind of water, but once you can tackle that water, you can tackle anything.
Seriously?
Almost anything.
Like taxes too?
Night.
I have a question in relation to your dive, right? It must be incredibly liberating after you get over the initial anxiety.
Yeah.
Because you're down there by yourself with your thoughts. You can't hear anything likely.
But you know, the nice thing is, when you're down there, your thoughts, most time, if you're doing it right, there's something called a breathe up at the surface, which is where you spend around a minimum of 2 minutes just breathing as if you're about to go to sleep. Right? Really calm breathing. It's not a big hyperventilating
It's almost
breath
like
or anything.
prenatal breathing.
I don't know. Yeah.
From down
Yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly. There you go.
I know a
right?
thing
You
or
know
two,
your
man.
thing. Yes. Right? It's belly breathing. Right? And it is, but you're doing it just as if you're lying down, going about to sleep. And then you take one last deep exhale and one last inhale. That's filling up the belly, the lungs, everything up from even up the esophagus. And then you go down. But that process of the breathe up, it gives your mind time to just do the thinking it needs to do, but then quiet down. It's when you feel that quieting, you go down and you do your dive, you don't have those myriad of thoughts in your mind anymore.
Wow.
Right? It's just, you're just very, very present.
You must be really good in conflict. Think about it. Think about all the
Using
videos
that
she's doing.
technique.
Like, you must
Yeah.
be very good in conflict. Are you? All right, well, I feel
She
better
has
about
Viking
myself.
locks, you know. She has Viking locks. Those are
I
Viking
feel
locks.
better about myself.
I have a question though. I have a question.
Hold on 1 minute. Last minute question for me.
Yeah.
So you're down there, and let's say you need to get up. Is it that they have
There's a
oxygen?
rope. There's a rope. You
There's
go
no
up.
oxygen thingy down there.
No, you have to come up. You have
Free
to.
dive.
You have to wake your way up.
So
Now,
how
if
do
you're in
you-
trouble,
Yeah.
if you're in trouble, what happens with your dive buddy, or if in a competition you have a safety team, they go down to meet you a third of the way up. And they are there because the last third of the dive is the most dangerous of the dive coming up.
And everything about shark?
You know what?
Blair?
No, I'll tell you why. Because when we're far out, which is where we typically dive, Antigua is so shallow, it somehow there's nothing around us. Nothing comes to visit us at all. However, the closer we are to land, that's when we get to see
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, that's fit for me.
That's when I went boating, and we all like went out. We was close to we call it Shirley Heights, whatever. But we were out in the calm section. The biggest turtle I've ever seen. I never stepped foot back in the water. I was done with that. I was done.
What the turtle going to slow you to death?
I don't. They don't look cool, okay? And they're not slow in water.
They're not
mind
actually.
you.
They're very fast.
And they're huge, and they look weird, man.
They are. They're reptiles. But what I was going to ask you, though, is that...
If I may,
Uh-huh.
please.
Go ahead.
Help me visualize here. You're going down, right? What does that look like?
Okay. So it starts with the breathe up for sure. Then you do what's called a duck dive, where you bend your body, get your hands down, you do an arm pull, and then you start the kick of whatever kick you're doing, because you can do multiple kinds of kicks, right? Then you go down the line. There's a line that's weighted, and you make your way down the line. You count. I advise to count the number of kicks you do and the number of arm strokes you do, so that you know where you are in your dive. Right? So you're counting, and then it gets to a point, just about, if you get down to the 20 meter mark, 20 or 50 meter, 25 meter mark, and then gravity takes over. And what happens is that you're now being pulled down a little bit more. So you're speeding up.
Christal.
Now, the thing about it is, remember, but you can only go as much as your body allows. Right? So if I can't equalize after a certain point, I
That's
just
when
turn
you know it's time
around.
to go back up.
Yes, which is mine. So it's not right
that's
now.
your threshold.
That's my threshold. Is my ears. I need to keep working on my equalization techniques and getting my whole eustachian tubes and my glottis and my tongue all working together to control the air.
I heard
not
math
let-
forever.
I was thinking about biological physics.
I was like,
No,
calculus.
your eyes are open. What are you seeing?
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're closed. Depends on how I feel.
No, but what are you seeing at that depth?
Just blue.
darkness.
It's not
Blue.
dark. It's not just blue. Just
blue.
blue. Just blue. It's really nice. Really nice.
How long do you have to train to be ready to do something like this? And do you have to start at a certain age, or can I just jump in and start working towards it?
There's no real age limit. You can start pretty young. They have courses for like teenagers that they're developing, and then you can go as old as you want to, really.
Once your body you can do it, right?
Yeah, well,
Once your body's capable.
once you're comfortable in the water, that's step one. You just need to be comfortable in the water, and then you can start learning. Someone can teach you what to do.
My last question for you, well, possibly last question, is meditation easy for you?
It's getting easier because of this, and I've learned a couple of different techniques as well. There's something called attention deconcentration, which I don't like using the sight one, but there's an audio one, which is where you close your eyes and you focus on a few breaths and you listen to what's your closest sound, which can sometimes be your own breath.
Breathing techniques.
Right? Yep.
Like that, yeah.
Yep. Then you listen to the sound that's maybe close to you for a few seconds, a few breaths. And you listen to the sound furthest away from you for a few breaths. And then you come back, do the same thing, and go back out.
I've been
Back in
trying.
and go back out.
I've been trying to use like the beads with the mantra.
I used to do that when I was younger,
Yeah.
but not for free diving. That was just meditation thing.
Yeah, that's what meditation for
yeah,
me.
yeah.
I have another childlike question, as Glenn said. So is this like some type of Moana thing where you like have like a calling to water?
I think I have a calling to water.